Hey guys, what's up? I got some big news, some big info to drop in this video. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. The three topics that are going on today is the state of the servers, skill-based matchmaking being turned up, and buying things to change your matchmaking. So let's get right into what's going on. Now, the developers in the beginning claimed, or at least alluded to the idea, that they were only using dedicated servers because that's all they talked about. But considering one of the benefits of dedicated servers is the fact that you don't have to host migrate, proves that they are actually using a mix of dedicated servers and what we consider peer-to-peer, even though that's not the proper term, basically meaning there's a player that's made host. People have submitted and shown and posted online evidence of host migration or failed host migration notifications, proving that it's not just dedicated servers, that it's indeed a mix. This is probably to save money. Now, another way they could possibly be using to save money is by utilizing less powerful servers or server systems, aka low tick rate, aka low packet per second. A tick rate or packet per second is how many times an update to the server happens per second. These updates are information regarding changes that are happening mid-match, such as who's getting killed, who's getting shot, how many bullets, what's blowing up, what it's affecting, and other portions of the map, and so on. It's literally the information that passes by a player causing an action. A healthy tick rate that can usually keep up with everything is around 60 or higher. There is a YouTuber by the name of battlenonsense who runs a lot of tests and gathers a lot of data regarding stuff like this and documents it in an organized, comprehensible fashion so you can see it for yourself. I'll leave his video link down in the description, but I'm about to go over his findings really quick and why they are so disappointing. So, domination in gunfights send around 62 packets per second or ticks per second, whereas ground war has only 22, which is crazy considering there is so much more that can go on in ground war. Not to mention, many of these updates have to be carried through multiple ticks or packets, which means worst case scenario, it can be anywhere as low as 17 to 7 updates per second, which is ridiculously low. But battlenonsense also found that a lot of the time we are running at 12 ticks a second or 12 packets a second. Keep in mind, some updates to these servers have to utilize several ticks to travel, and something very common is at times the data can just get lost and need to be resent, which is why 60 ticks per second is where you need to be if you want a smooth, fair experience. 12 ticks is laughable. These low and altering tick rates can result in sparse to no hit detection, or what is called bundling, for example. Bundling is when the game is struggling to keep up with everything that's going on within the match. And then let's say you, the shooter, decide to shoot at someone. The game cannot keep up with accurately documenting and updating the hit detection. So for you, the shooter, you will see hit markers appearing in the order that they are shooting. But for the person getting shot, it will appear that they were shot by one single bullet or sniper fire because the game couldn't keep up and therefore the damage was late and or bundled. This is also bad because if they shoot first and it's struggling to even keep up with them and you turn around to try to fire back, it's very unlikely that it's actually going to truly register your bullets because the tick rate is too low to try to document or update both sets of fire. And it may show some hit markers from your point of view, but those hits will not show on the screen of the player that you are shooting back at. But what's more common is that you just won't have any hit markers show up at all, and no damage will be transferred or updated through the server because those ticks are being occupied by other actions taking place at the exact same time. Now, some of my examples are frustrating to look at, but there are people with much better examples. People who have had much worse experiences, and because of their locations, primarily Europeans, this is even more common for whatever reason. If you look at a chart of complaints or issues or server problems, you will see that Europe consists of the vast majority and a much higher rate. That's most likely because of their relation to the servers. In the end, this is all bad, but even better news, and of course by better I mean shitty, skill-based matchmaking was turned way up today, and boy did I notice. Now the past week has actually been fine. I actually played a good bit. I did a lot of challenges. I was having a blast for a good portion of it. There was still some skill-based matchmaking there, but it wasn't ruining the buzz. It killed it a little bit, but it took a while, I'll say that much. And I wasn't the only one that experienced this. A lot of people said the matchmaking has been feeling pretty good the past few days. It has been pretty diverse. Even matches on shipment was pretty diverse. It was going 40 to 50 kills like all day the other day, like 22nd and the 23rd. As were others, but then today there was no diversity. Every match, everybody had almost the same exact kills. Nobody got over a 1.5 kill to death ratio. Nobody. The game is literally trying to make it so that everybody has the same exact experience, and it was boring. It was so freaking boring. Imagine a bunch of soccer players, FIFA soccer players, and they're all so good. They're all kicking as fast as possible and hard as possible, every which direction, but the ball is just sitting still. And their legs are flying and swinging all over the place with the ball is just sitting still. And then somehow after a few hours and the time limit is about to reach its end, somehow they have inched the ball over to the goal and somebody makes one goal and the game ends. And they win by 1 point. And then they tell everybody, all right, leave. You know, you got to see what you came for. You got what you paid for. That is what each game felt like. But the main reason they turned up skill-based matchmaking is because a lot of kids are getting this game for Christmas. A lot of noobs, a lot of people who haven't played Call of Duty, their grandmas got them this game, and they don't want a noob massacre like we expect every year. They don't want us better players or veteran players to completely squash these new kids because that means they'll lose player retention. They want to keep as many of those noob flake players as possible. They don't want kids to turn in the game the next day because they find out that they suck. And instead of putting in the time and effort to become good like the rest of us did, these kids will just quit, give it back to GameStop, or never play it again. And they don't want that. So they're going to segregate us as hard as possible. Each level of skilled players with their own level of skill players. You're not going to touch these noobs. You're not going to get even close to these noob lobbies. Recently, people were exploiting the fact that skill-based matchmaking was turned down a bit, so you would get 1 or 2 bad players each game, and you could just find their name and then join their lobby next game, and then find the worst player that game and then join their lobby next game, and so on. Keep it going, and eventually you were in these super easy lobbies, just another way of boosting. And so if you turn the skill-based matchmaking way up, you're only going to play with people at your skill level. Everybody's going to play exactly the same. Everybody's score is going to come to almost exactly the same, and joining previous players isn't going to work. As infuriating as it was trying to actually find some interesting footage, get some interesting gameplay for the background of this video. Not great footage, not great gameplay, just interesting enough to put in the back of the video. This doesn't upset me too much because I know that once the holiday season is over, the matchmaking is probably going to go back down. I just have to wait, take a break from the game, check back in every once in a while. So that's pretty much what I was already doing anyway, so I'm not too heated. Now I decided to see something though, if buying something would change my matchmaking. Either get rid of the skill-based matchmaking, make things a little bit easier, or change it in some other way. There were a lot of people who have posted that after buying something, the matchmaking changed. No particular way. They couldn't quite put their finger on what had changed. It just felt different. They could feel what they were usually experiencing was not showing up in their lobbies anymore. Whether it be a play style or a gun or a type of player, whatever something was, it was different. It wasn't any clear particular change, but it was there. So I went ahead and bought the last 13 or so tiers on the battle pass. I changed my character to the last character. I set my main class as the new gun you get near the end. And sure as shit, my matchmaking changed. I went from everybody playing the same to pretty diverse lobbies. Now, don't get me wrong, I could definitely still feel there was some skill-based matchmaking going on, but it was definitely toned down or different. But I wasn't getting like brain dead lobbies or anything like you would get boosting, so I'm not really sure how it's going to affect people buying things more, or if it's going to affect people as much as Activision hoped it would. I don't know. I'm sure Activision's still trying to tweak and balance that aspect of matchmaking to see if it's something they even fully want to implement in the first place, but there's definitely something there regardless. Anyways, be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment down below, keep the conversation going, and when more stuff drops, I will definitely let you guys know. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy Holidays.